Good morning, class. I'm Sayed,
I'm Hayden.
I'm Sultana.
And I'm Cassie.
and today we're going to be talking about developing your soft skills. So what are soft skills? They are certain traits that don't have a quantifiable measure, meaning you can't put a number to it like you could your GPA score or your SAT score. And they're important because during your first interview for your first job or your internship, you're not going to have much technical experience with that in your field, and they're going to be judging your soft skills during that interview. So our first soft skill is time management, which is how you utilize your time. And that's important because we all need more time in the day. So some benefits of having good time management is stress relief. Because if you have an exam tomorrow, you're not going to be worried about staying up all night tonight cramming before that exam because you have it before time. You get more done, and when you get more done, you have more free time. And some tips to have good time management is to prioritize all your tasks or assignments or exams, and then you write them down in a schedule or plan or whatever you want to use, and then you make a schedule to get those done before time. And next, I'm going to pass it down to Sultana to talk about engagement.
All right, so engagement is a big part of our lives. It's a part of your social life, your personal life, your networking life. The most important thing about engagement is that you can get the next person involved and interested in what you're speaking about. Some tips and tricks to keep other people engaged is definitely eye contact. Some people don't like keeping eye contact, but one of the things you could do is look maybe every couple of sentences, look towards their face, let them know that you're listening. The next thing could be using an authentic voice. That means raising your voice levels to emphasize, extending words, and basically putting importance on certain words, certain terms. And learning from personal and professional relationships. Basically, you can listen to other people's conversations and see how they keep other people involved. One of the best tips I can use if you're not listening to someone, because I know people can drag on their conversations for a long time, the best thing you can do is maybe listen to those last few words in their sentence and repeat it back to them in question form. This will trick them into thinking that you're listening. So even if you're not listening, there are ways to keep people thinking that you're listening. This is a soft skill that you can definitely use in your workplace and your social life because it keeps people thinking you're interested in them. So body language is also important, maybe leaning in toward them or not looking around as much. But this definitely goes into our next one, public speaking. So I'm pretty sure lots of y'all have probably heard of this statistic that the #1 fear among Americans is actually speaking publicly. So definitely, since we've all given our presentations, speaking publicly, we've all done it. We've done it a couple times. So the only way you can truly work on your public speaking skills is through practice. One of the best tips I can give you is to not memorize what you have up here on your slide because you're going to be so focused on, did I say that? Did I say what I was supposed to say? Did I go over that one point? Oh wait, let me reiterate that one point I missed. So keeping a light outline in your head is the best way, so that way you can freely go over everything without fear of missing anything or leaving anything out. Repetition is very important, so like I said, practice. You can stand in the mirror and do it. It's, like I said, don't give yourself a speech to give. Give yourself an outline so you're not standing there with lines to memorize. You want to give yourself an open area, an open space, so you have room to add more, because there's things when you're doing a presentation, there's things you think of in the moment that you weren't thinking before in your bathroom in the mirror. So it's important to give yourself some time and space and be comfortable because, you know, if you're giving a presentation, think of how you would feel sitting in the opposite position and the other side. So there's not much of a difference between standing up here and sitting down there. And now I'm going to pass it on to Cassie.
So another soft skill that you want to develop for life or work is going to be paying attention to detail. So you want to focus on tasks that are going to be the most important first. This way you can prioritize and get things that matter the most done. Then the smaller things will be easier once you get past the bigger things. This helps you avoid falling behind on schedules. That way you can prioritize your time and make sure that if you're working on a group project or a group project at work, that you're not letting other people down. You also want to stay organized, so this will just help, you know, your mental capacity to get things done as well. You don't want to be disorganized and forget things. Also, making lists is a really great way to stay organized and make sure that you're focusing on the things that matter most. This way you can see exactly what you need to get done, and you know, crossing out things off the list always feels great as well. You want to limit distractions, so you want to put yourself in an environment when you're working that isn't going to cause distractions or make you lose your focus. This also goes into making sure your area is clean and not cluttered. That can help you focus as well. And then you also want to prioritize quality. So this kind of goes in with the first point, but just make sure you're getting the most important things done first. That way, if you know you run out of time or you don't have as much time to work on the smaller things, it's not as big of a deal. Okay. And then another soft skill is handling pressure. I know we've all felt pressure in school and in work. It's not a good feeling, but if you can find ways to handle it, it's definitely more manageable. So this is tied to confidence. So if you're not confident in a subject that you're talking about or that you're working on, it's going to obviously feel a little bit more, you're going to have a little bit more pressure than talking about something that you're well versed in. So you want to have a wide variety of resources and know how to use these resources. That will make you at least appear more confident, make you feel more confident about what you're talking about. And if you know how to use them, then you know how to present your information in a better manner. Another way to help with this is to role play different workplace scenarios or school scenarios. This will just let you have more practice with feeling uncomfortable and how to release tension. And then you can also figure out a handful of go-to phrases for specific situations that might occur often. This way you can come up with polite ways to handle, you know, customers or colleagues, and you don't have to make anybody uncomfortable, or you know how to handle the tension with it. So now I'm going to hand it off to Hayden.
All right, so now we're going to talk about management. So a lot of people put management and leadership as like synonymous terms, and they're not. So management is actually the process of dealing with or controlling things or people, while leadership is the actual action of leading a group of people or an organization. So executives have to constantly be picking managerial styles, and the best way to do that is to pick one and have it go throughout your managers, just sticking to one particular style, so that there's not a bunch of people trying to do things a bunch of different ways. And whenever you're picking this style, take into account your actual managers and their natural management styles. Up here I have just a couple of the major management styles, and then let's see. Utilizing the natural management style will allow a better employee to manager relationship rather than trying to box them into being what you want them to be. However, we can't become totally affixed to one particular style and never change it. It's not like a one and done thing. It's something that constantly has to be changed as your environment changes. Businesses are constantly changing. You have political things always changing every 4 years, or well, every day at this point. And then your client base is always changing. As new generations come in, your employees are changing. So as your client base, as your employees are changing, you have to be changing as well within your management and leadership styles. So now we can go into problem solving. So problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues. And a better way to deal with this is to seek out constructive guidance on other creative ways to think about a problem. This will allow you to get an outside perspective from a third party that's unbiased. Another way to do this is to identify the type of strategy being used to deal with a problem, such as abstraction, lateral thinking, root cause analysis, trial and error. Then considering their different approach that could lead to faster and more accurate results. So abstraction is the quality of dealing with the ideas rather than the overall event. Lateral thinking is the mental process of generating ideas and solving problems looking at a situation or a problem from unique perspectives. Generally speaking, this is more of an outside-the-box sort of thing. Root cause analysis. Root cause analysis is basically exactly like it sounds. You figure out the exact root cause of the problem, and then there's trial and error, which we're all fairly used to. That's just you keep trying something, and you're going to fail, but at the same time, you'll figure out the best, most accurate way to do things. And then we'll go to Siad for the closing.
Thank you. And so, in conclusion, today we discussed about what soft skills are, and then we went over into how to develop these 7 soft skills. Thank you, and are there any questions?